The haunting case of Stacy Errickson, a failure of justice? The abduction and murder of Stacy Errickson is a chilling reminder of the fragility of life and the complexities of justice. Was justice truly served, or did a confluence of systemic failures contribute to a tragic outcome? Give a like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Stacy Rae Errickson, a 22-year-old nurse technician, was more than just a statistic. She was a mother of two, a daughter, and a vital member of her community. Her life was brutally cut short on November 20th, 1994. Errickson was kidnapped from a gas station in Jacksonville, Arkansas. The perpetrator, Marcel Wayne Williams, then 24 years old, would forever be linked to this heinous act. Williams forced Errickson to withdraw $350 from ATMs. This act of desperation highlighted the calculated nature of his crime. Two witnesses bravely came forward, identifying Williams as the gunman. Their testimony would prove crucial in the subsequent trial. The horror escalated as Errickson was raped and strangled near the Arkansas River. This act of unimaginable violence left a community reeling in shock and grief. On December 5, 1994, Errickson's body was discovered. The grim discovery confirmed the worst fears of her loved ones. The cause of death was determined to be strangulation. This detail underscored the brutal and personal nature of the attack. Williams was charged with a litany of offenses: murder, rape, aggravated robbery, and kidnapping. The charges reflected the full scope of his depravity. Marcel Wayne Williams was born on August 20, 1970, in North Little Rock, Arkansas. His life was marred by trauma and violence from an early age. Williams was subjected to severe physical and psychological abuse during his childhood. This history of abuse would later become a point of contention in his legal defense. Before Errickson's murder, Williams had a criminal history, including incarceration for theft and aggravated robbery. This prior record painted a picture of a troubled individual. During his incarceration, Williams was reportedly gang-raped. This horrific experience undoubtedly left deep scars and further complicated his already troubled psyche. Williams was released on parole in April 1994, just months before Errickson's abduction. This decision would later be scrutinized and questioned. Disturbingly, Williams is believed to have kidnapped and raped at least two other women before Errickson's murder. This pattern of violence suggests a deeply ingrained pathology. The trial commenced on January 6, 1997, at Pulaski County Circuit Court. The courtroom became the stage for a battle between justice and the defense's attempts to mitigate Williams' culpability. Williams was found guilty on all counts. The jury's verdict reflected the overwhelming evidence presented against him. He received a death sentence for murder, along with life sentences for the other offenses. The severity of the sentence underscored the gravity of his crimes. His initial appeals were rejected by the Supreme Court of Arkansas in 1999. The legal process seemed to be moving inexorably towards his execution. A post-conviction application alleged inadequate legal representation. This claim raised serious questions about the fairness of the trial. The defense argued that mitigating factors, specifically his abusive childhood, were not adequately presented during sentencing. This omission, they claimed, prejudiced the jury. In 2007, a federal court granted a reprieve, citing ineffective counsel. This decision offered a glimmer of hope for Williams and his legal team. However, the 8th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals reversed the reprieve in 2009 on procedural grounds. The legal pendulum swung back towards execution. In 2010, Williams was a plaintiff in a lawsuit against the state's execution policies. He challenged the constitutionality of the lethal injection protocol. An execution warrant was issued for July 12, 2011, but it was postponed due to ongoing legal issues. The legal battle continued to delay the inevitable. During a clemency hearing, lawyers pleaded for mercy based on Williams's troubled childhood. They argued that his upbringing contributed to his criminal behavior. The parole board ultimately voted against clemency. Their decision sealed Williams's fate. A second death warrant was issued in September 2015, but it was delayed again in October 2015. The legal wrangling continued, prolonging the agony for all involved. Arkansas scheduled 8 executions in April 2017, creating a firestorm of controversy. The sheer number of executions planned in such a short period raised serious concerns. Critics argued that the rushed process compromised due process. They questioned whether the state was prioritizing expediency over justice. The state's supply of midazolam, a key drug in the lethal injection cocktail, was set to expire. This deadline added to the pressure to carry out the executions quickly. The families of the victims, including Stacy Errickson's loved ones, overwhelmingly supported the executions. For them, it represented a measure of closure. 4 inmates were spared execution due to clemency or legal challenges. This further highlighted the uneven application of justice. Marcel Williams was executed on April 24, 2017. His long legal battle had finally come to an end. His final appeals were denied, including claims about poor health and obesity. These arguments failed to sway the courts. Williams's last meal included fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, sweet potatoes, peach cobbler, milk, and cookies. This seemingly mundane detail offered a glimpse into his final moments. Witness accounts described heavy breathing and arching during the execution. These observations raised questions about the humaneness of the procedure. Williams's twin brother stated, "Justice has been served." His words reflected the complex emotions surrounding the execution. Kenneth Dwayne Williams was executed on April 27, 2017, completing the series of executions. The state of Arkansas had carried out its grim task. Governor Hutchinson defended the decision to proceed with the executions. He argued that it was necessary to uphold the law and provide justice for the victims. Williams's case was featured in BBC Three's Life in Death Row. The documentary brought international attention to the complexities of his case. A proposed bill sought to limit death row last meal budgets. This seemingly minor detail sparked debate about the appropriateness of such requests. The case of Stacy Errickson and Marcel Wayne Williams leaves us with profound questions. Did Williams receive a fair trial, considering his traumatic childhood? Did the state's rush to execute him compromise due process? And ultimately, did his execution truly bring justice or simply perpetuate a cycle of violence? The answers, like the case itself, remain deeply unsettling. This case serves as a stark reminder of the need for comprehensive victim support, thorough investigations, and a justice system that strives for fairness and equity for all, regardless of their background. We must learn from these tragedies to prevent future occurrences and ensure that the voices of victims are never silenced. If you or someone you know has been affected by violent crime, please reach out to victim support organizations like the National Center for Victims of Crime or your local victim assistance program. Your voice matters, and help is available. Furthermore, consider supporting organizations that advocate for criminal justice reform and provide legal assistance to those who may have been unfairly represented. Let us work together to create a more just and compassionate society.